Hello, kindergarten. Listen, tomorrow, Miss Romeo is going to be dropping off your reading book and a new empty math book. The reason being is the concepts that are in this math book are really important. Now, she tells me that you guys are really good at math. So, she wants me to pick up somewhere around chapter 5 of this book for some good old-fashioned reviewing. But before I do that, what I'd like to do is in chapter 1 through 4 is just go over those vocabulary words. What are vocabulary words? Those are the words that have meanings that we use in our math class. And it's really important that you take a look at the vocabulary words and look in your book. Make sure you know what they are and you know what they mean, because everything gets easier in math when you understand the definition of the math vocabulary. So, on page 12, and you can begin to fill in all of this book. You can do it whenever you feel like it and you have time and nothing to do. Good practice to go ahead and do those lessons in Unit 1, 2, 3, and 4. But here's our vocabulary. The first word in the vocabulary is the word and. And. A-N-D. A-N-D. And. Like 3 and 4 equals 7. So when you see the word and, it's kind of a clue that you're going to be doing some adding. The next word in Unit 1 is fewer. So if you've got 3 pumpkins in one pumpkin patch and 2 pumpkins in another pumpkin patch, this pumpkin patch has fewer pumpkins, right? This has 3, this has 2. 2 is fewer than 3. Now you're learning what some of the digits are, the numbers. The next vocabulary word is 5. F-I-V-E. And that is the number 5. Just like the next word is 4. F-O-U-R. And that number is 4. And guess what? 4 is fewer than 5. See how that works? The next vocabulary word is larger. I can look at these two numbers, and because I know 5, if I had 5 apples and 4 apples, the 5 would be larger. I would have more. So we know that 5 is larger than 4, and 6 is larger than 5. See how that works? Match. The next vocabulary word is match. And when something matches, it just means they're the same. My hand matches my other hand. They're the same. This glass matches this glass. They're the same. One apple, one apple. They're the same. So same is kind of like equal. More is the next vocabulary word. And we already know that more is kind of like larger. If you have 5 apples in one hand, 4 in the other, the one hand has more apples. It has 5. 5 is more than 4. Finally, the last vocabulary word on this page is one. O-N-E. The word one is the number 1. It's the beginning of the number digits. 1, then it goes to 2, 3, and so on. On the next page, the first vocabulary word there is pairs. What is a pair? Well, look at your shoes. You have a pair of shoes. 2 things that are the same. Here's another number digit. 3, T, H, R, E, E. The word 3 represents the number 3, the third digit. 1, 2, 3. The next vocabulary word is, and I'm going to put it over here, two, T-W-O. That word is represented by the number 2. The final one is zero, Z-E-R-O. And that word is represented by the number 0. Now, quickly, 0 is less than 3, right? 3 is greater than 2. So 3 is more than 2. 2 is less than 3. 0 is less than 3. And 3 is more than 0. You see how easy that is? You just got to know where it's at in the numbers. That's the vocabulary for Unit 1. Now, Unit 2, and you guys can just go through these on your own. When you get the book tomorrow, take a look at them. On page 80 is Chapter 2's vocabulary, and the first word there is compare. And what does it mean to compare? When you compare something, it's either less than or greater than. If I compare this number to this number, 0 is less than 3. If I compare this number to this number, then 3 is greater than 2. That's all comparison is. The next vocabulary word is fewer. 0 is fewer than 3, right? If you have nothing in this hand and 3 in this hand, there's definitely fewer in this hand than in this hand. 2 is also fewer than 3. 3 is a bigger number. Which is the next vocabulary word, greater. We know that 3 is greater than 2, and 3 is also greater than 0. 2 is a greater number than 0 as well. The next vocabulary word is less. And you know, when you see that word less, especially in a story problem, it usually means subtraction. But in comparison, less means a smaller number. 2 is less than 3. And 0 is also less than 3. Match. None of these numbers match. But if I was to make another 3, those two numbers match. They are the same. The next vocabulary word is more. 3 is more than 2. 3 is also more than 0. There's so many words that kind of mean the same thing. More, greater, less, fewer. Then we see another number added to our vocabulary, and that number is, once again, 1, O-N-E. And there's our number 1. And 1 is less than 2, 1 is less than 3. You got 1 piece of candy, you got 3 pieces of candy. You want to have 3 pieces because it's more. And same number is the last vocabulary word on this page. And if you look on the board, you see the 2 3s, they're the same number. They have the same value. All right. Let's get rid of the 0 and go on to the next set of, and the next set of vocabulary words, it starts again with the review of the numbers, and the first number is 8. 8 is E-I-G-H-T, and 8 looks like that. Then the next word again is fewer. 3 is fewer than 8. I got 3 pieces of candy, I got 8 pieces of candy. 3 is less, it's fewer. Then we visit the word 5 again, F-I-V-E, and that's represented by the number 5. That's what the 5 looks like. And then more. 5 is more than 2, 8 is more than 3. 3 is also more than 2, right? So you can look at numbers and you can determine whether that number is more or that number is less. And when you think about the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then it's easy to figure this out. Because when you go to 9, every number is less. When you go to 0, every number in this direction is more. And if you pick numbers in the middle, 3 is less than 5 because it's on this side of it. But 7 is greater than 5 because it's on that side of the 5. And if you can remember that, you'll always be able to know which is greater, which is less, which is more, which is fewer. Then we add yet still another number, and that number is 9. N-I-N-E. And that's what your 9 looks like. Now there's all kinds of practice in the book. You can practice writing those numbers because in order to understand them, you got to be able to write them and someone has to be able to read them. So practice writing those numbers. 2 more numbers are added. The number 7, S-E-V-E-N, and 7 looks like that. And then finally, 6, S-I-X, and 6 looks like that. So just like the numbers I wrote across the top of the board. Practice writing those numbers, become really good at it. Because when you start doing more math problems, it's really important that you're able to read them. So moving on to Chapter 4's vocabulary, we see the word and again. We revisit some of these words because the more we see them, the more we remember them. And when you see the word and, that's a pretty good clue again that you're going to be adding something together. 3 and 3 equals 6. You see? You use that word and. In addition, compare, again, we're comparing numbers. Is the number bigger or is it smaller? 0's the smallest number there is. It's nothing. 1, the next smaller number, is smaller than any of the rest of the numbers through 9. But number 9, every number behind it is smaller. So numbers are either greater or they're smaller. They're more or they're less. Or, in some cases, they match. And 2 numbers that match, that's a pair of numbers. So we have a pair of 3's, and if I was to make another 8, we would have a pair of 8's. And a pair of 3 and a pair of 8's will be 2 of a kind. Never mind, you'll figure that out later. Anyhow, a pair is 2 things, like your shoes, a pair of shoes. A pair of glasses, 2 things. Not a pear like you eat off the pear tree. That's a fruit. Now you can have 2 pairs, and that would be a pair of pears. You got that? Well, try to just remember a pair of shoes. Same number again. Same number. And numbers that are the same, if you have 2 of them, that's a pair of numbers. Then the last number on our list of vocabulary words to finish this off is, let's get rid of the 5 because this number is twice as big as 5. It is 10. And 10 takes you into a whole new place with numbers. 10 is written 1, 0. And what makes it special is now you have 2 digits. All the way up to 9, there was only 1 digit. But as soon as you hit 10, now your numbers can grow and grow and grow. Because 10 can be 11 and 12 and 13. And what you're doing is you're taking 10 and then adding 1 to it. That's 11. 10 adding 2 to it. 10 and 2 is 12. And you all know that when you write the number 12, it looks like that. So anyhow, I know you guys are really good at math. That's our quick brush up on those first 4 chapters worth of vocabulary. Probably stuff you already know. But that's okay. Never hurts to revisit and make sure that you know what they mean. So kids, have fun. Stay safe. Stay out of trouble. Do something kind. And we'll be back tomorrow. And we'll start review of lesson number 5. And lesson number 5, let's just take a peek ahead here and see what it is. Oh, that's addition. That's when you take two numbers and you add them together. And you get the sum, the answer. Addition, practice tomorrow. Thanks a lot, kids. See you later.